yowena yabasa kugomesereza mpaka naga majingo bakabasa kutwagitaho aha mpaha kurebeka ngo twakusyaho agamakuru against yona agabasa kubaho nagandi ngabutosha okunkugera Sky Express ndi Easydee omwishikatwa karahange gambine wanyini omwana wa wakama obusinje wa muremaro makarema kandi turuhaha mpora mwen omugargairi joba European Union yasharo chumwe kosa profits za Russia zisente za Russia ziba freezing kugira ngo base kora Ukraine shopping kandi igereze yona nakasimo Russia nayo yataza haza kandi iyo Russia abukinaga cha Israel kukutero Belgrade nayo egikozera nkojo yabasa kubane gikoraho bushaho yatwara mu abantu kandi abahuthi Russia yagize na China bagenda mpora Saudi Arabia umuri mu kibuga cya Oman umurembo wa Oman babasa kuba nibegita na nabahuthi abahekera ba Yemen batensa diru yabo direha ninza kugikuhereza kandi Trump nawe ari narana gatonya gakabaga komba bwanyuma ya Attorney General kuragira aba freezing assets ze ninge byo bugigabwe byo mu New York byona babasa ku freezinga kandi na Israel na yakoze raid on West Bank yachombagiza obuhereza aba Palestina bahinga ba Fersuti bariyo kana baba ino barra agona minji mnonga muri izoba mu Sky Express show nanya Easydee omushikatwa Sky Express show nyina kutangirira mugenzi wanje yasakutwa gitaga majingo kandi yabaryaho niwe mwen European Union omukago ogugita amahanga na mushanju gabraya eshitami mena kugambe nyumwazi yo kuba bemba proposing kugira ngo mwen hati America etachire ka sente na nito European Union tuine kuyambi hanga ryitu rya Ukraine twatari yambire abandi nabara riyambe mwana bashaka kugira ngo sente zo tuziyenkayi bajango bishu katwira tuine sente za Russia ibibugiga bya Russia bitwa freezing hati habushita kwata sente zo tukabasa kugira ngo tuyambe ningashitwere Ukraine Russia tizimwize mu kigeze mwana babari yo kubarino bateza empaka kandi bayemba ronda kibarakore mwana hembe ni magambiro rebyo bagariche bashitama umushengeri yabo mu Brussels babasa kuba baganira nshongezi bamaze kuganira nshongezi bikizana kugira ngo sente za Russia zo freezing n'ibyo bugiga byona kubarra mu sente zo batagira na 10 neki ekibakwataho a sente za Russia ngukonka no manya sente wazite ko mu banka ejo burubwire bukurabaho aboja no bahire sente zo bine kwa mbata magoba iyo korte ka sente za mu banka wayisiza kumara nko mwaka washanga ko tire mutwaro 20 washanga na wakutaka bire na gumwe bakushaza bisharamba kusharazo kubika baguma mbashara utashangire magoba ijo banka gifurukemo icyo kubanza sente zo kubotire mbamba zikozesa kwereza Easydee rone iza na ronda omumagoba gwa kuyamo babiye mu mutwaro gumwe bashima kwamba kwaje nka singi nka 2 ha sente zawo mwene ko rizanga bank sente zo kuyika nizo kuyihayo overtime ofurikemu oronde bank ndijo bani waza ito nina kigambera mwene ebyo bugiga bya Russia omuri Buraya nabo still sente zo zibene zikora magoba hati bagire kubara yebo bugiga biri mu mahanga ga Buraya gona amagoba ngingana ki bashanga magoba ningana na billion 3 za dola mwene bagira ngo katkwata magoba gatugatware mwene tureki baratukoyambere mwene bikirizana kugira ngo bagira byo mu European Peace Facility yabayini yabasa kubane gurura Ukraine ebirwanso takwenda kwata sente zona bazeze Ukraine amahanga mbagamanya president anasa kubana nazo ninga nabandi bakachiko mwene benda bagure ebirwanso babase koraki ko bitwarayo bakore byona Russia yagire ngo ekimuyikirizana kugira mu kosa magobago sire magoba ngagara sente zanje amagowago naga sente zanje mweni naguna ganje nago tumukiriziwe kuwanga mugakwataho kumara kizeza European Union echi station somwe atensa ijo barumurgira ngo mwazi processinga za gender umuri Ukraine ninga mwazugura muri bronze mwa ha Ukraine we shall retaliate ndogaro murro mwakutureba mukande kindi imumanye umurogo gwemundu imwe itondo kutabariza European Union mwene atakiryo ni kigambwa kandi atakiri kigeno misho Russia hata yenero ndabaro yabakugu kugira ngo ebase kuba netwara European Union ekibina cya European Union omukoti base koza sente zo base kuzagarayo in case ko aramare kuzi processinga kandi ubwo hati ekiza kukorwa abo kuba bikirizine kandi ba signinga bikiriza baronde mahanga ago kubasa kusupplyinga birwanuso byamani base kushashura then bigende muri Ukraine na defense system ya na sente zo kosa Ukraine barambazire ba sente zo baronda ka sente bako ha o barinzire America na processinga billion zabo buhumbi nkaga bwa dola ubaraganise ubukwatire mu ishengero cyo blocked agargo makuru kurgayo muri European Union na Russia kwekarakasa.
Russian assets worth $3 billion to supply arms for Ukraine amid Moscow's ongoing invasion. Well, this money would be channeled through the European Peace Facility to buy weapons for Ukraine. However, there's discussion among member states on how the money would be used. Some countries with neutral stances or reservations about arms sales are reluctant about the same. Take a listen.
Windfall profits of Czechia.
We made very important decisions, especially by making possible to take the windfall profit. There is a proposal put on the table by the Commission. We are determined to act very quickly so that we can take a part of this money to support Ukraine, including this possibility with military equipment. And it shows that the 27 leaders around the table understand the seriousness of the situation. It shows that we are determined to bring more support for Ukraine. I'll give you one other example. We had the occasion to discuss this Czech proposal, this Czech initiative, very concrete, very operational, in order to make sure that we are delivering what is needed for Ukraine. We know this is extremely urgent.
Western banks are raising concerns about the EU's plan to utilize frozen Russian assets. The primary fear is potential legal action from Russia if they're involved in transferring the funds to Ukraine. Beyond immediate liability, banks are also worried about the precedent this sets regarding the use of frozen asset and the potential erosion of trust within the international financial system. Legal experts anticipate litigation as this approach challenges traditional sanction methods. Well, Russia has vehemently condemned the EU's proposal, labeling it banditry and promising retaliation if their assets are confiscated. They highlight violation of property rights and the potential damage it could inflict on foreign financial systems, particularly the trust between central banks. Legal experts predict a protracted legal battle as Russia challenges the legality of EU's plan, potentially leading to decades of legal wrangling.
Sky Express Show nyenda kutabaratsia mu storage kandi nyenda kwakiriya kwasa kutwegita hoga yabasa kwana batwegitaga majingo njiri Easydee omushikatwa karhangi gambirine wenyine omwana wabakama when Trump kashwangwa korobu yayi Trump we no mufere nyoni mwetere cyanda mwenwe cyanda Trump business ze ziri hari lebulebu nyuma zimeri mbagambe ko bari umukoti bakamujya ngo ashore $1 million 75 iziburuho cash bond kufuna bond kugira ngo ibintu bibase kuba babihamisho na fine zizirumu akwa $1.75 harmu okutangisa ngo kwakweta fine yabwanyuma kushanga ngo omushanga gwa civil fraud nugumushtamira mwene bagira ngo tugiye kwarabaramu twagitaho namagoba gaje myaka yona ize na avoiding emisoro yona twashangazira $1 million bina atanonina akona kana bwana Trump sente zaine nk'uko ma Trump n'omuntu muhangu kandi kudojinga kusashura sentezi mwenu wena yenda kwereka ngo takwenda kwishashura hatu mwenu ibe bikiryaho afonere surety companies basezwe kumwemerera kugira ngo ababase kuba bamuhereza yo ka space bamuhereza ku kamande mpaka kuri kubanza aina kuba yashashuire $1 million 254 konka Trump najangwe sente nizo izata kuza kushashura noma ina kagayano kandi ina mugeregano kandi aina nakajogo mwene kwaje bati babara companies bagira ngo babase kubana baz freezing mwene companies base kwamba seizing okuseizing ningo kugira ngo bazikwiyeho ninga bize bazemereze ubutagaruka kubona yakora kandi umukuzemereza still ubushobozi mbaburi umuryabo ya seizing nka government ezikwate mwene hati state hati ntugende no mu states zo muri America government yona ya USA takarga ngwe kwate bintu nibikwatwa state ebikushangwa hati for example bazengwaza kubarabara bashanga aine golf course aram private estates then haramu na 7 Street Springs bayan companies zona na yobugigebi base kwana bikwata kuza kushanga ba Trump no muyayi akaya transfer injira ownership yebyo bugigebi yabitiro mbandi mwene yaje ati nyebyo njote bikunkwata utibiri byanje ngwe tibiri byawe baza kushanga mu bantu bako owninga ka transferinga kare bajangwe nabonta ko followinga konka Trump yayiheho mushango nibabiri yebye konka nabayizire nka cha mafia ibi yabitekamo bajankare mwene attorney general wa New York yajati mutafayo atomu New York ndokusizinga property eziri muri New York nomriyez haramu Trump Tower aine Trump Tower kandi Trump Tower ainemu na hotel mu Central Park na nezindi companies zona eziri mu New York hata nizoba kwenda kuteka henati na nekufuru mpaka Trump yamara kuremererwa kushashura $1 million 254 eziba musharire mpaka ku kamande companies zimwemerere zibe ziri 30 no kurenga ezimwemerere kugira ngo base kumuhereza yo period akaba bashabere cash bail ya bond mwen companies zamwemerera ezikurenga 30 zicherezana zagira ngo base kumuhereza kiba muhereza mpaka mande mwati companies ez buri company negarika yo mukoti ne twari papura byaye ne jari nyowe Trump tubentu jangu nakushashura tumbia bihitu nkabanywana babo na company konka tureba Trump tari mu rugendo rukushashura mwene mutahenda mutwaterine munitwe mukashashuza sentez companies zigenda zona zibergaho zijyangu Trump ayefeho amuryebi roya Trump yirukanga yajyangu icyo kusizinga properties za Trump kugira ngo muzutware ntikiri mu mateka is unconstitutional kandi cyane just tikiri cyo buntu kandi chekazigizi cyaho naho kandi tirinda mu mateka mwene turasa kubyikiriza kujya mu base mu forwarding ebyo yajyanga kagaruca handi ko mu koti ninga joro zo mu Supreme Court barebe atangire kugira ngo biyo bwiga bya Trump batabitwara Trump ayo nagarebe manga genshonzi nawe gayo ngamuremera agango makuru.
James is eyeing a possible takeover of the Republicans' golf course and private estate, 7 Springs. Trump's assets are under the scanner after his failure to acquire the $454 million bond demanded to cover the civil fraud judgment. The former president has until Monday to secure the required financial guarantee. Earlier this week, the former president's lawyers notified that he is facing, and I'm going to quote here, insurmountable difficulties in securing a bond. As per reports, over 30 surety companies have turned the Republican frontrunner down. The judgment has entered in New York City, putting multiple properties of the leader at risk. Some of these include Trump Tower, a penthouse at the Trump Tower, a hotel in Central Park, and numerous apartment buildings. Trump's attorney, Clifford Robert, has pushed back on the court's suggestion over Trump handing over his assets. Robert said that the decision was impractical, unconstitutional, and unjust. However, the process of seizure will not be an easy one. On paper, Donald Trump is not the owner of a lot of these properties. Now, this means that an order against him will not be executable on such assets. As of now, the Attorney General is looking to seize his bank accounts and physical assets through foreclosures.
So, ogonwe John Donald Trump wa America na wena kwesi mumukaro kwa bendera Republican Party omukwi 11 mbamuvunana mushango wa civil fraud case bwanyuma yoko mistatinga property values ze kudojinga emishoro akana as reducing at low cost kujangwa emishoro bachendeze kuza kushanga bashanga netase chango kana companies zimwe yazirekayo kandati emishoro bamugerekirire nemishoro ne sente nkimunonga kurigiranta askeye mwene ubwo mushango ogwa bamutiro ogwa civil fraud case umuri America mwene hati nshongezo nakwa nazi kwatakana Russia na China basindikire abakungu bayo babasa ku bantu bagira ngo bagende baze kureba abahekera b'abahuzi umuri Yemen abahekera b'abahuzi bajya ngo kubesiga mwene nkati meeting tujiteko muri Oman bagenda baza Oman babasa kushitama babase kuganira barebe China na Russia ne basa kwera eta abahuzaba kureba ngo nabo basa kutuza bakiyo tensions mu Red Sea na Gulf of Oman emere zo bushobozi heyizu kurabera hakwa China na Russia na zone zize kurabya yo emere zazo kujana zetorasti zirgayo ziro mu Gulf of Oman zirabaho Babel Mandeb Strait zirabamu mpaka mu Red Sea zigenda zabamu Suez Canal zegukira Mediterranean Sea basa kusupplyinga Europe Buraya namanga gandi okukira kugira ngo zetororo mu Africa hano ya Indian Ocean zetorora hasi mpaka zetorora Africa yona mpaka kuri no hatogo muhanda nokugwabe guri hi mwene ku yortaro rwa Israel na Gaza rwakwaya rwatandaka rwanura rwachombagiza kandi rwakwatomura abahuzi bakargayo kugira ngo babonabonese buri meri yona eyihanga eri kusupportinga Israel kutera Gaza mwene ebyo batangira mere za Britain za Bongereza bakwata nemere za USA na nemere zibenzi twaro muri Israel kwemba jiketa bamangoje ne twaro muri Israel ningeje ne kwatane twaro muri America ne America ningeje ne ya Britain bazitera bacumbagiza yobo kandi mu global trade umbye bushubuzi byo no munsi yona ubwo muhanda ogwa maritime corridor ya yokorwa mu west karabirbo mu Gulf of Oman mpaka na mu Red Sea ne constituting 12% ubuce 10 aho ntibi kutambura byo bushubuzi ebyamana munonge mari yoko no hura container bareta container biki ito zitunzura bera hano zija kunuya nkar Mombasa ninga darasa kunu mu Africa konkeza koreze kuzabungereza zikorwa mu West Asia zikorwa mu Asia zibenzera bo mahando ogum mu Red Sea zambuka hata ba Yemen kugira ngo bo bari hihawo na Gulf of Oman na Red Sea ataho ntiba kunywereza burmere kurabo pa bikisha byanura bwanyuma ya Iran kugiteka musente na technology hati bebetachurumbisa mundu nawe mbarumbisa missile bagireba bagisinche chikompora twa kware byakara Russia itinyabura nyoka ni supplying ibintu byinji China na yaka ni supplying ibintu byinji kubira bya kubiteko mu Bongereza kabajinyangaraza zagonda zajankaza bazazete abahuzabo bastamenabo barecho bakwasakora abahekera abahuzi ngwitwe tuza kuzikiza mpaka Israel erekire ya hortaro na nakutera Gaza abangu ijampora ngumanyemere zotera zibe zitu zitware bintu mwene wenda nitwe tukujware ngito antuje twantondye tutensa kugira ngo okuteremereza kurekeraho then ezenati ningasi America ziyatira kugira ngo netangirimo bahekera ito ntakusumura tukwereza bushagiki ombyo butegeki byawe omuri Yemen wijuke ngo aba Yemen aba ba controlling ecweka cyangwa nacyo muri Yemen abahekera babahuzi na controlling ecweka omuri Yemen kusora government ko international government era under government ya Yemen era under the political system ndijo konkaba Yemen abahuzi nimo kwenda kuhamba mwene Russia na China ize niko haze mushagiki omubyo butegeki ebyo kurango babasa kwikireza cyo kwenda konkemere bazekeze banze zarabo ngo kare agana go makuru na deal katore deal cyo kuyarabemu kugira ngo twabasa kufuna businge mu Red Sea ngo makuraga
China and Russia that their ships can sail through the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden without being attacked. The talks underscore the increased nervousness among world powers about the Houthis' missile and drone attacks in and around the Red Sea. Now, both China and Russia are diplomatic and economic partners of the Houthis' main military and financial backer, Iran. Now, the Red Sea is a key route linking the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Around 20,000 ships pass through the Suez Canal each year. According to the International Chamber of Shipping, a London-based trade association for shipping firms, 12% of global trade passes through the Red Sea. The Houthis, who control much of Yemen but are not recognized internationally, say that they are targeting vessels to pressure Israel over its war with Hamas in Gaza. Last week, the Financial Times reported that US held secret talks with Iran in a bid to convince Tehran to use its influence over Houthis to end attacks on the ships. Now, these indirect negotiations, during which Washington also raised concerns about Iran's expanding nuclear program, it took place in the month of January. The officials in Oman shuttled between the Iranian and American representatives, so they did not speak directly. Meanwhile, a second round of negotiations was scheduled for February, but was postponed. The Houthi attacks show no sign of abating, despite the increased international presence in the region.
Sky Express Show inakutangira mbona turebe abahuza aba kubasa kwatagana na Russia na China kano yijuke ebeine yo Iran yebene giteka makasente kandi kwateka munene birwaniso kugira ngo basa kucumbageza ubuhereza ba Israel, America na Nabongereza hata baza kwegitaho Russia na China kugira ngo bo emere zabo zija kugira ngo erebendera ya China yarone bendera ya Russia bazerekeza rabo kurungi atagira yaje kwataho erabo konka ngoza abachaye ezaba Britain na America na ezikuzo muri Israel zona batere butere mwene eberebe ningira atine connection wakufatire gamba nogo mwene atu na Russia na yefuna abahuzi kugira ngo bagerekeye gumene shubura na China na gumene korebye mushuburo byayo mwene nyuma zyo kugambire ahanshonga za Russia Putin wabe nagaruka mu Ukraine kugira ngo hati bambakora ibimbera y'ebutuju yo kutera civilian buildings bokutera abantu abutosha batakutera nkaza company bakutera bizimbe kwitira abantu Putin azatumwe nyoka na retaliatinga mukaba muta ekiro cya nyamazo Putin nimbani manyisha Russia esindi cyo kikompora missile yagenda kimwe yatera mu kibuga hagati yasinche bikompora yatera mu kibuga hagati Kyiv ekibuga kikuru cya Ukraine nayo yatagatinga civilian buildings civilian buildings habarumu amashomero harimo amaka na warehouses nyinshi abantu nyamwinji abantu 15 baza kwanda bafana obuhuta omuhendo gwo bafana gwo tubagutuhereza mweni ina wartariyeting ajya ngo nanye kamba kora ko bwinaza ngoko mutukozere den tubatere muturebe omurro muri Ukraine ahagati hato gwo murro gwe ngutera mu kibuga gutera bibuga ebe kurwanisa ibicweke be kurwanira hate takutera Ukraine ahagati akwaburiye benetere once in a while kandi ati ni kigambwa kugira ngo etire missile eyaman yakukiza yamani omuzebene yakozesa niyetira hagati noza kugira bekine cyetimbira mu kibuga hagati na nahandi on weeks missile ezo Russia beta kuzikoza hati nizatanga kwihayo missile ine mamana mingi nyatere mu kibuga kwina z'abantu aganago makuru.
Air Force says missile defense units shot them down. At least 17 people were injured as missile debris fell in several districts of Kyiv. Some apartments caught fire and schools and warehouses were also damaged. Robert Bride is at the scene in Kyiv.
And then the first explosions began just before dawn as air defences across the city got to work intercepting incoming missiles, with debris falling at a number of locations causing widespread damage and also a number of casualties. The authorities reckon that just over 30 missiles were fired. 2 of them, they say, were hypersonic Kinzhal missiles. The rest are said to have been cruise missiles, all fired from past in the metro system until the all clear was finally given later in the morning.
They're doing everything to destroy our nation. Our task as a people is to stay united and to remember who is the enemy.
As the clean-up operation has been continuing throughout Thursday, people have been assessing damage to their homes and also to their businesses.
It makes your heart weep. You have something one moment and then the next it's gone.
Pressure inakutangira ejo niyo Russia na Ukraine tubakuzikiza tubakurekeraho. Russia na jeti nza mankufuteri Ukraine nayo uweza kumanefu n'ebirwano so kabanza babirete birwano se biturebe ako benegira ngo na munonga nenda bagihereze anti-air defense system. Hat anti-air defense system ni everyone se bakufuna kugira ngo bamara ku detecting hariyo missile ne yija nabasindika ebe kugikwata ninga bigenda bigiteroko etakize kutera mu destination iba bagiragire ngo etere hati Ukraine nibiye kwenda kwa missile zaba missile ibiko missile zo kurga Russia zikiziro mu mwanya pas katera ebyo na ninyo nezikiziro mu mwanya nazo nizazi zikoro anti-air defense system niko gukora hati Ukraine zeshabere munonga babanza bakora aryecho au kwa Russia hati amanege hiro mu kurumbira hansi yagumane rumbira no mu mwanya na nakutangira hari mwene yende bintu bikwasa kugikutangira umuryebyo mwen Israel abayudaya kwa mazire kugenda umuhitaka ryabermo abaferisuti yagumane hamba umwanya Israel yashara hagati yatemba umuhitaka ya Palestine ningari y'abaferisuti abayudaya bawucpayinga hato muryecho abaferisuti abirukangize bakarga umwanya gw'abayudaya gubagiremo ubwo hateri y'ino Israel ikabaganisa mu abaferisuti abo bamwe baguma mukono bumosho abandi baza mukono buryo mwen abagire mukono bumosho mapu yaberyeti kare abagire burengero izoba eyabagaza ermu abahati bakutera dena abagiye burugijoba mu eastern niyo kweta West Bank hatkunu West Bank ereburugijoba Israel ya hagati hatkunuya akakaka burengero ijoba niko kagaza mwena hati okoko muri burugijoba Israel harimo tweta ba occupants aba Israel bakaguma stili mbashoba nubagenda nabaza West Bank bakushanga ori mferisuti bakutera bakuyaho itakariya barutwara bombekaho nkabo ebitweta sectors urujungu rukire mu international lo mbamba beta sectors kwija bakazo mu itakariya abandi bakabinga mwaba mwene mucyanye mwazo bagenze mu West Bank Israel amahe IDF ya Israel yagenda yarumba ebetwe na bulldozers bako mu ruguto bakikambashenya ebizimbi bakukambashenya ekibashanga amuri aba hinaba mu abaferiremu habumu no mwana Muhammad Sahil abani myaka 19 arumira abantu bingi munonga umucweka cya West Bank mwenye mazo basibire mu kuzika basenwe karakasa abantu bekarakasa nabo bakwate mundu baza kwerwanaho amahena ugaba amahe genda kujya mwago gikwata ni mwinaza mwen ekiriyo mu West Bank Israel necengera kweyongera emishango na kweyongera ubuntuntu kuza kurumba agargo makuru ngariche n'amasimu ganyu nkemu ibiri mbase kurga.
A fresh poster of 19-year-old Mohammed Salhiya shot down in his youth. His face joins the scores of posters of those previously killed in Israeli raids, all a reminder of the grief and violence the people of this camp have suffered for decades.
Anytime the Israeli army storms any Palestinian area, deaths follow. We are talking about Jenin, Tubas and today Al-Am'ari. The bleeding continues and the deaths continue because the Israeli government gave the green light to the army to kill young people who reject the occupation.
Al-Am'ari was raided during the early hours of Wednesday morning. Mohammed was on the outskirts of the camp as the army began to withdraw. It was there he was shot in the head. 100,000 Palestinians were expelled from their homes. It wasn't the only camp that suffered from a night of violence during Israeli raids. Nur Shams refugee camp in Tulkarem was the worst hit. 4 Palestinians killed, 2 in an Israeli airstrike and 2 by live bullets. Israeli forces tore up the streets and destroyed infrastructure with armoured bulldozers. And before midnight in Jenin, an Israeli airstrike targeted a car, killing 3 Palestinians. 2 were fighters from the Jenin battalion. More funerals held, an all too familiar sight in this city. Anger turned towards the Palestinian Authority that was holding what the people call political prisoners. In the chaos that followed, security forces shot towards the crowds, injuring dozens of people. Back in Al-Bireh, Mohammed's friends and family march with his body to his final resting place. Now it's time to say goodbye, but they are all too aware that the waves of violence will continue.
Express show inakutangira iyo mugenzo wanje yabasa kubana tugite haga majingo kureba ngo twabasa kuba tugenda munonga kureba ibyabasa kubaho munonga. Nabijanye nako atasi muheme maze kugenda kwa inda amasimu gagenda kamanze hinayambo za ikibuzo kirahi oguya jambo hai omushikatwa nyoni banyeta Jordan bategana kurgomo rubihendwa kazo ninyendo ngambere China na Russia ekukiza sente obuirobu webare munonga hati ainesho ngazi nkwenda kuba ninyenda kuba nimbagambira omuriyezi China na Russia macha za Russia nekiza mu by'urwano soma Russia na yebembera China konga China in terms of economy era hari munonga. China is the second biggest economy in the whole world bwanyuma ya US. America niye kubanza na economy yayo, China ne ya kabiri, kandi Russia tekiza myaka 5 ekiryanze munonga Russia mwene ekibuzo cyawe cyo ningira nti China no bwahati ne cyongera guma negenda kukiza Russia mwenti zigasa kunyanisa sente nakake munonga ndiye ndonda ha message ndijo oguno haya basa kubuze kibuze kikaturebe mba mweto ha hoya ogumba mweta mbusa twateka izina yawe. How do you compare Israel, North Korea and Iran in terms of wabuze hane yabuza Israel, North Korea na Iran. Israel, North Korea na Iran omu power index mweno man echo kubanza Iran eriyo mu 14 omunsi yona as part 2024 omumana omukirman. Iran eriyo mu 14 na power index ya 0.268. Israel eriyo mu 17 omunsi yona Israel ne kwatumanya 17 omukirman mwinji masango Iran yakizaho Israel on ya power index ya 0.256 2596. Aha wabuzi hanga cherindi katore yabuza is this method? North Korea. Hey, North Korea irahare munonga omwanya gw'amani eri omwanya gwa 36 eri omwanya gwa 36 as power index no kupima chirimanye yensi yona as per 2024 ine ori omwanya gwa 36 ine power index ya 0.5313 mwenchi mansangu Iran nechiza hari Israel eri mu 14 ejere mu 17 North Korea eri mu 36 konkejo omunsi yona North Korea niyo kuchiza yo battlefield, the most powerful battlefield tanks konka power index ranging yokuba zamani Iran nechiza Israel kandi Israel nayo echiza North Korea 14 17 North Korea mu 16 ebyona nanye nimba nimbiha a research ekubera conducted tukujangu ninyangu byetekerezo mu tugwanje nimbiya research so mubuguma bindi aha ngumani mangu ni wena ndako bimanya abo Sky Express turawasa kwata amasomo ganyu atatera simu nuwogo ishaza mpaho ndi Easydee omushikatwa karahangi gambiri ne wenyini omwana wakama kuruga hati mpaka rukubanza mbashobora kintu rijona nyiragamba cha Eclipse anyway abonshonga yakire kare kandi jihano ekikura tawo lunch time nuko show mbakwamba batera muziki imwe kinagumena tandika show ngume mukwate musinde ko butumwa asimu zikubanzira bahansa asimu ya MTN ya WhatsApp echo ntiji wanguhira kugira ngo nantafuna no bwire bwo kwata amasomo mbase ko ningaruka mebuzo byanyu nandi yampewa obusinge ubwamurema rurema karema bugumeni mwena and Easydee omushikatwa.